Hey, what's up everybody? Today I want to talk about safari footwear. I get asked a lot about what boots do you wear to Africa. There's a lot of gear junkies out there, and technically I'm not one of them. I'm not the guy that has to try everything out. I'm not the guy that critiques every little thing about it, which could be good or bad, but I'm like a general person that just likes to use what works for me and call it good. There's a lot of other products out there that work great, a lot of good boots, a lot of good shoes, and I'm going to talk about just what I like, what I use, and my suggestions here today. So one thing first off and foremost is I do not wear a huge heavy hiking boot in Africa. There is some mountain hunts that you got to do, such as Mountain Yala, stuff like that, that could be more beneficial on, but you don't really need it. It's not like you're hunting stone sheep or doll sheep in the Rockies, or even most of the stuff like you're hunting here in Wyoming for elk and deer. And these boots I think will work great for elk and deer here as well. It just all depends on what you like, if you like a stiff boot or not. These are not stiff boots, but these are great boots. These boots are meant for walking. You will walk miles when you're in Africa, especially when you're tracking an elephant and hunting buffalo. You will walk a lot of miles hunting those two animals. So here we go. We're going to talk about what I got here. First off and foremost, my trusty pair of Courtney boots. I've taken these Courtney boots to a lot of different places in Africa. They've seen a lot of different countries, walked on a lot of different soil, tracking buffalo, elephant, all of it. These Courtney boots are made in Zimbabwe. These are my favorite, probably my favorite African boots. You can get them here in the States from Africa Sporting Creations. These ones we actually got from Africa. They're great boots. They're not super stiff. They're super easy to walk in. I think they're comfy, and they put down the miles. They're tough boots. They're meant to be walking in Africa, because everything in Africa is tough. It's either going to bite you, run you over, or stick you. The soles are perfect. Thorns don't go through those. There's a lot of thorns in Africa. They're great boots. Really love the Courtney boots. You get them in different sizes. You get them a little bit taller, different colors, different leather material. Lots of different options when it comes to your Courtney boots. Different patterns on the bottom. I have 2 other pairs of Courtney boots. Love them all, and I'll probably keep buying some more Courtney boots. There's other brands like Russell Moccasins and Jim Green footwear. I'm going to try a pair of Jim Greens here this year, but a lot of guys like those, so I'm going to try those, but they're just kind of all based off the similarity of Courtney's. They're not like a big North American hunting boot. These boots are great. Courtney, it's named after the man Frederick Courtney Salou himself, so more iconic than that, wearing a boot named after a guy that was a big Africa guy back in the day. They named the Salou Game Reserve after him in Africa, and so it's just a kind of an iconic thing to have a pair of Courtneys on, and I do love them. So that's that pair of hunting boots for Africa. Like I said, there's a lot of different stuff that works. Stuff works good for me. Pair of running shoes, like a pair of Hoka running shoes, would work really well. You'd be comfy walking in them. I'd get like a trail running pair just because it has that thicker bottom. Because like I said, there's a lot of thorns in Africa. A lot of stuff will poke through and go through your foot. These aren't the ones that will stop a lot of that. These will stop quite a bit because they do have a harder bottom, but they're not super thicker like the Courtney boots. This is a pair of Palladium boots. These are kind of a canvas top, waxed material, and these are great for hunting in moist, wet conditions. Like for instance, when we were hunting Cameroon, hunting bongo in Cameroon in the forest. It's pretty much like hunting the rainforest. It's wet from humidity. It rains all the time. You're getting constantly wet. So what you would do is take 2 pairs of these, swap them in and out each day. Let the 1 pair dry at camp. You have a fresh pair of shoes for the next day. These are actually really comfy to walk in. I enjoyed wearing them. I'll probably take these on most of my safaris as a backup pair of shoes. Like let's say, my feet, get wet in these Courtneys one day, like it rains on us, or we walk through a swamp or whatever. Or might even keep these on the back of the truck, because if you're going to go into a wet area, it's easy to throw these on instead of ruining these nice Courtneys, which these ones have gotten wet and they're not ruined, but water's a lot harder on leather than it is canvas. So it's always nice to have a pair of these boots around. These are the Palladium boots. I'll put the description here on which brand, like which style they are on the video. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. I don't think it tells me inside here. It's like the high boot, P high boot or whatever. But I'll put those in there. Really like them. Like I said, the soles are pretty thick, so thorns don't really go through them. Great boot. I like using them. They work really well. And these are two of my kind of like all favorite Africa boots. Like I said, you got Russell Moccasin, you have Jim Green footwear, that's really great, African brand type stuff. Like Hoka running shoe or Solomon work great. You don't really need like a super high hunt and hiking boot that's super stiff. You want something that's comfortable, something you can walk a lot of miles in, and something, you know, it's warmer in Africa. You know, sometimes like on this hunt for Bongo, it was probably 90 degrees and, you know, 80 to 90% humidity the whole time. So it's not like you want an insulated boot, you want a thick boot, you want something that can breathe. These are great boots to breathe in. Same with these Courtney's. You can just slip them off during the middle of the day while you're at camp, slip them off while you're sitting around having lunch in the bush, let everyone relax. So these are my two options that I use in Africa. Gave you a couple other options you guys to try, but just go with what you like. You know, go with what feels comfortable to you. Get a pair of boots prior to your safari, break them in. Do a lot of walking in them, and make sure you can walk a lot, because if you're doing like a buffalo hunt or elephant hunt or even a good proper eland hunt, you're going to be doing a lot of tracking, a lot of walking, and you want something that is comfortable for you. So that is my take on Africa safari boots and shoes. Stay tuned for another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Share it with a friend if you did, and good luck on your first and next safari.